Alright guys, so today we got a pretty special video because we have an action camera, and this one's actually quite special because it has quite a few features. So action cameras have definitely come a long way, and they've definitely pushed the limits on what a little small camera can do. So this one's made by a company called Vantop, and it's the Moment 6S. So it has 4K 60 frames per second, Amba processor, ×8 slow motion, smooth flow stabilization, a dual screen, internal mic, RAW capable, Wi-Fi enabled, charges with the USB Type-C, and also includes a remote control. So the package it comes in is really nice, and the thing I'm noticing that is if you already have GoPro accessories, it looks like it'll work with that, so that's cool. So let's go ahead and open it up. We'll raise the top portion out. So the camera itself is inside the top part, and in here we have all of our accessories. Quite a few things in there. So we have a little thank you card from the company. Vantop care card. That's interesting. The user manual, and it's quite thick, but it does have a few languages. So we get a lot of accessories. Sticky double-sided mounts, some straps, an elbow mount, another little mount. This is a 1/4 inch thread, so you can adapt this to tripods, cameras, whatnot else. Another little adapter, a waterproof back case, some more double-sided sticker pads, mounting to handlebars, USB Type-C cable for charging. Here it looks like we have the battery. So it's 3.8 volts, 1200 milliamps. It's like a pretty good battery, and I think we have 2 of them, which is great because you got an extra battery to keep going. All right, so here it looks like we get a little bonus, and it looks like a lavalier mic, and it connects USB-C straight to the camera. Very cool. So this is what the mic looks like. It's a little bit on the larger side, but we'll have to test out the quality of that. All right, and here we have wireless controller. So this is kind of like a watch that you put at your hand, and then we can see all the controls we have. Looks like we have Wi-Fi, power, looks like a burst rate picture, video, and photo. So all the hot buttons that you need. This is a pretty good quality here. We have a little logo on the side, and just feels really nice overall. And even the belt is quite nice and rubbery. And it looks like it could pretty much fit any hand. And could be very useful if you have your camera mounted somewhere and you don't want to go out constantly. And you can even turn it off if you're not going to use it. Very cool that this is included. So we also have a little cleaning cloth and some stickers if you want to stick these somewhere. All right, so for the main part here, we have the camera itself. Let's go ahead and pop it open. And this is what it looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and slide it out. So it's already in the case, and it's a really good size. It's about the size of what we're used to. There's a little tab on top we got to pull to unlock it. And that releases the latch that holds the back. And then we're going to pop the back open. And you guys can see it's completely sealed. So it's ready to go underwater. Alright, so holding the camera here, it feels really good. It's got this rubbery texture all around it, so it's kind of like an impact resistant. Let's go ahead and take off these little protectors. There was one on the lens, there's another one here. So we do have a little screen up front, 2 little LEDs, says 4K 60, and the brand name on the bottom. So here it looks like we have a microphone. There's a little tab here that opens up, and that's where our USB Type-C cable will click in for charging or that microphone that we saw. So on the top looks like we have a speaker and a large button. On the other side we have another button that looks like the power button. So on the back of the camera we have a pretty large screen, the logo here on the side. And now looking at the bottom, I'm really liking how they included this 1/4 inch thread here, because you can incorporate this thing into pretty much any tripod or other accessories that you might have. Over here we have some certification sticker, and then there is a door here. Now if we slide it out this way, it pops open, and this is where our battery will go. So let's go ahead and grab one of our batteries. So if we're looking in the back of the camera, the battery will go straight in just like that. And there's a little tab that folds over, so when you do open the lid, you can grab your battery out really easy. And by the way, I guess more importantly, our micro SD card goes right in there underneath the battery. Kind of hard to see, but there's a slot right there. All right, so let's power it on and see what it looks like. I'm gonna hit the power button here on the side. And there it goes, power's on. And right off the bat, we can see how large our screen is. It's a very nice size. So we can see all the options we have here. On the top is our recording time, our battery life. Here we can zoom. And this is one of the features that this camera has. It actually has a zoom. So it is a digital zoom, but it's like a clear vision zoom. So it doesn't really distort the picture too much. So instead of going in the settings and changing, wide, medium, you can just zoom in just like that. And it goes quite close actually. Look at that. It's quite impressive. So on the bottom, we have some hot buttons. Our current setting on the recording, which is 4K 30 frames per second. Then we have a video button there. Looks like some kind of wizard button. A settings over here. So if we click on the 4K, we can choose here. So we have 4K and then we have 4K Ultra. So I'm guessing the Ultra is maybe a higher bitrate. We can also do 2.7K, 1440, 1080, and even 720. So I'm not seeing 4K 60. Let's see if we click on this, what happens. Okay, so here we can adjust the 4K, the frames. So it starts all the way from 24, 25, 30, 50, and there's our 60. So we do have 60 right here. So right in the middle, we have a video button. We can do regular video, video time lapse, slow motion, photo lapse, and burst mode. So let's click this thing here. What is this? Okay, so this is all of our settings for picture quality. So we have the exposure rate, white balance, power on, record. So I guess this starts recording right away. Metering mode is center, and you can change it to spot or average. Here we have gyro stabilizer. So to use this, you're not able to do 4K 60 or 50. You're not able to do 2.7, 60 or 50, or 1440, 60 or 50. So basically, this is limited just to 4K 30 frames per second. Or 24, and you do have 25 if you're international. And so this is electronic stabilization. I can definitely tell it's stabilizing. Like I'm shaking it and it's not moving much. Okay, well that's cool. So for now, let's turn it off. Go back to normal. Here we can choose the encoder. And again, it tells you what's available and what's not. So we're going to stick with 264 for now. The volume of our speaker, sharpness standard, distortion correction off, loop recording off. So if you wanted to use this thing as a dash cam, you could, because it does have loop recording. File sizes are 5 minutes each, and you can change that. Very cool. Video quality standard. I wonder what that means. Economy, standard, and fine. I guess we'll leave it on standard for now. And the max ISO is 64, so it'll never go over that. Now, it is going to do a lot better in the dark if you keep it on the max. So let's just keep it at that for now for testing. Audio on and timestamp is off. So if you want your time to show up in your videos, you can turn that on. So, all right, guys. So yeah, very intuitive little camera here. So we do have settings, language, Wi-Fi, frequency, format. Okay, so this is formatting the SD card. Outer power off in 3 minutes. So if you don't do anything, it'll turn off. LCD 30 seconds. I think I'll leave this to 1 minute. Front display on, indicator lights on, keypad tone on, rotate off. You can adjust your brightness of the screen. It gets quite bright. Just leave it like it was, I guess. Color temperature, external microphone. I guess you can turn that on and off. Set your date and time here. Frequency, I guess we need to change that to 60 since we are on 60. And then default settings, display ISO. That could be useful. Turn that on, and this is our version. All right, and that's pretty much everything, guys. Very cool little camera. Very intuitive, very easy to use. So let's look at the front of it here. We haven't even looked here. So our power button glows red. Our button on the top glows blue. And we got another little light that glows in the front. And this is what our front LCD looks like. So this is more for information of what's happening. So we can see here we're in video mode and 0 zeros because we're not recording. And then our battery life there. So for the next part, I need to find an SD card that can actually record 4K. If you're going to get a camera like this that does 4K 60, you definitely need an SD card that can handle those kind of recording bit rates because they get quite large as you go to 4K. So first we need to go ahead and charge up the battery. So I got it plugged into the charger, and on the back of it we can see a little red light indicating that it is charging. Now the part that's a little bit strange is that you get 2 batteries, but there's no way to charge the other battery. So I guess you charge the batteries inside of it, and then you have the extra battery. So I guess they're not really intending for you to constantly charge the other battery, but have it more as a backup. Okay, so once the battery's full, the little red light will go off. Go ahead and unplug it. So I did find an SD card, but it wasn't a U3. This is a U1, but it is a good brand, so I think it still will work. All right, so let's go ahead and plug it into the slot. Close our little door, power the camera on. Let's go to our settings and click format. And that'll format the SD card. And on the top we can see we have 50 minutes and 54 seconds to record. So we are in 4K 30 frames per second. Let's hit the button on the top and that should start recording, and there it goes. So it looks like it is recording and everything's fine. So we've got a little blue light that blinks right there. The one on the top blinks, and on the front here So the next thing I want to do is I want to pair this remote to the camera, and you do have to pair them. It doesn't come paired. Now there is another menu that we haven't explored yet, and it's accessed by swiping from the top down. Here we can see some hot buttons. We can lock the screen. Wi-Fi. We got FPV mode, and I guess this is if you're going to put it on a quadcopter. And then we have remote control. So if we click on that, it's going to ask us, do we want to pair it? We're going to say yes. And then it's going to tell us to push the 2 lower buttons on the remote. I'm going to go ahead and do that. And there it goes. It says pairing completed. Okay, well that was easy. Let's see how it works. I'm going to click the Wi-Fi button. So you can turn the Wi-Fi on and off. So let's try the middle button, which is burst. And there we go. So it made us a burst picture. Let's click play and see if we can see it. Okay, so it took 3 pictures. And obviously they all look the same. Alright, so let's click this one here and take a regular picture. So once you click whatever you're going to on the remote, it changes to that mode on the camera, and then you got to push it again to actually take it. So maybe I can show you guys here. If I click on burst, it'll change to burst. Click on photo, you can see photo, and then video. So once it goes to that, then you got to click it again to start it. So here we're going to start a video, and there it goes. It's recording. Alright, so the remote seems to work great, and it was very easy to pair. So yeah guys, I'm sure there's a lot of you out there that would definitely appreciate this wireless remote control. And by the way, this extra door able to use the touchscreen on the back. So this one that's on here right now is a hard plastic, and the one here has a little special film that once the camera's the back of it, you can still use the touchscreen. Alright guys, so I'm going to record some footage with all the different modes. So hope you enjoy it. Let's get started. Alright, so let's do some testing on the audio on the microphone from the internal mics, and this is how it sounds. And I am in 4K Ultra 30 frames per second right now, so hopefully you can hear me quite good. Alright, so let's try the zoom. So that's 1, 2, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so it just keeps going. So it seems to have a very zoom friendly zoom. Okay, so I just realized that if I hold the button, it's got a smooth flow to it. Wow, that's cool. I was just tapping it, but if you just hold it, it acts like a real zoom. Now, I don't think this is a real zoom, obviously, but it sure acts like it. And zoom into the dog here. Let's try to zoom into those flowers over there. So yeah, you can't zoom too much, but zooming a little bit seems to be pretty good. So I am still in 4K Ultra, and I have the gyro stabilizer on, and you guys can see how much smoother that is. So I'm going to go ahead and take a little walk here. So I'm walking with the camera. It is quite windy, so let's see how smooth this footage is. Alright, same walk with no stabilization. Alright, so for the next part, we're going to be checking out the external microphone that came with the camera. So this is a clip mic, and I'm going to clip it right below on my shirt, and this is what it sounds like. So this is an audio test of the included external USB microphone. So we can hear how good the mic suppresses the wind. So there is an app for the camera also. So this is what it's called, Moment. Click install. Alright, so it's installed, open. And we can see the 6S right there. So let's make sure our Wi-Fi is on. and we'll tap to connect. So it's asking us to make sure we're connected to the Wi-Fi, which I haven't done yet. So we're simply just going to go to our Wi-Fi settings, and we can see the 6S right here. And the password is 1234567 So let's connect. Go back to our app, tap to connect, and there we go. So it's working. So this is our main screen, so we can see what this camera is seeing right now. So here we have settings, and here you can change all of the different things just like you could in the camera. So a lot of options here. So we have our battery indication. This is the mode we're in. So we're in photo lapse mode every 3 seconds. If we click here, we can choose from the different modes that are available. Let's go to video. So yeah, it's simple as that. We're just gonna click this record button and it starts recording. Then we can go landscape and have a larger view. So as I move the camera around, there's some delay you can see. So it's not a huge delay, but there's definitely like, I don't know how much, maybe half a second or so of delay. Not too bad. And so here you can play back what you've recorded. So yeah, pretty straightforward and nice little app. And you can literally adjust everything. So that's really nice. And also guys, on the watch here, the remote, you can actually pull out the remote part, and it's like a little slab that technically you can incorporate into anywhere. And it does go in both ways if you wanted to flip it around. Alright guys, and so this is the Vantop Moment 6S. So I'm quite impressed with this thing overall, and the value that it's at, it seems like a really good deal. And as you see there in picture quality, it's very nice. I definitely love the video time-lapse feature because it just makes the time-lapses into a video internally. And my favorite recording setting is the 4K Ultra 30 frames per second. With the gyro enabled, makes it quite a nice, stable image. Now a few things that I found a little bit finicky is touchscreen here in the back is quite sensitive. If you touch it just a little bit, you know, if you're like handling the camera, it's so responsive and quick. You'll end up being in some menu somewhere by accident if you just touch it. Now you can swipe down and lock it, and that'll lock the screen, and so every time you touch it, it asks you to unlock it. So this could be useful. You could turn this on, but you'd have to swipe it to unlock it every time. So but that just shows you how well and how responsive the touchscreen is. So yeah, very intuitive to use, very enjoyable, and I think this is a great alternative if you don't want to spend the big bucks on the big brands. This thing really delivers on quality and ease of use. And also I am wearing the watch, so that's quite comfortable and very convenient. So if you want to set this up, or you know, you have it somewhere, you can use the watch to operate it. The mic I did find to be a little bit boomy. It's a little sensitive, so it's putting in too much signal. I didn't see any adjustments in the camera. Maybe there are, but it does work quite well, but it needs to be a little bit farther from the sounds. And surprisingly, the internal mic works very well and gets really good sound. And transferring files is very easy. So you just click the provided USB cable into the camera and then into your computer, and it picks it right up. And I'm using a Mac, and I had no issues whatsoever accessing the files, and it's a very quick transfer. So yeah guys, if you're in a budget and you want a action camera that does everything, definitely check this thing out. I love how it has the 4K 60 frames. That's a really cool feature, and the 4K Ultra 30 is awesome, especially with that stabilization. So I'm going to leave some links in the description. Check those out, and if you enjoyed this video, then hit that like button. And if you enjoy videos like this, I do a lot of interesting things on this channel, and there's a lot more to come, so stay tuned for more. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.